Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'll be reviewing the Rolex Daytona in stainless steel with a black dial reference 116520. This model year was produced from approximately 2000 to 2016. I'll tell you a little bit about the history of this watch and tell you about where it stands in the lineup of other similar Daytonas. Then I'll tell you about the case, bezel, dial, bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with just a little bit of history. Now, the Daytona has a very long history. It's been they were making it back in the early 60s when they first started, and they've gone through a lot of variations. The modern Daytona is considered since 2000. Now, before 2000, interestingly, Rolex actually used the movement, the chronograph movement from a company called Zenith, and they put it in their Rolex Daytona. It looks very similar to what it looks like now, what you see in front of you, with some minor changes on the bracelet and some minor changes on the dial, but more or less it looked like what it looks like now. But the modern Daytona is starting from 2000, and this is it. And why is it modern? Well, several reasons, which I'll get to when I start talking about the details of the watch. But most notably, it takes this form with this style bracelet and with an in-house movement, meaning that the movement was made by Rolex and not by Zenith. Okay, with that said, let's talk about where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Daytonas. Now, this is a stainless steel. They only make two colors of stainless steel, white and black. They've only done that moving forward. They've never had any other variations. Stainless steel it's the least number of variations, either black or white, and that remains true even as of 2025. And I believe it will always remain true that Rolex for their Daytona stainless steel will only make two variations, white and black. Okay, with that said, whichever color you prefer, that's up to you. There's a lot of people saying this one's better than that one's better. It's like saying, which hand is better, left hand or right hand. It just really depends. Some people like black, some people like white. Okay, but what we have here is black. Okay, so let's start talking about this one. Now, I've given you a little bit of an overview where this watch stands in the lineup. Of course, they made other Daytonas during this time, a lot of Daytonas actually. I would say even probably close to 100 different variations. They have it in different materials, rose gold, white gold, yellow gold, and even with a bunch of gem set. They did all sorts of crazy gem setting, which they actually are getting away from. But they did tons of crazy gem setting. I think like maybe 50 to 100 variations, a ton of them. So yeah. So that, anyways, now between 2000 and 2016, which this model number has the same reference for, they've gone through several different variations. This is, I would call it the first variation. There's several different variations, but this is the very first one. And it's noted by the way the clasp is, which I'll show you in just a moment. All right, but let's start with the case. Now, the case is 40 millimeters. It's been 40 millimeters, or probably, I think actually the older vintage Daytonas, they were smaller than 40 millimeters. So I'm gonna have to take that back. I think they were smaller, 38 or something like that. But the modern Daytona, which is what most people are looking for, is gonna be 40 millimeters. It has this very sleek oyster case. You see the edges of the lugs are smooth as opposed to block or angular, such as in the Submariner or GMT. Only the Yachtmaster and the Daytona, which both have racing heritage, by the way, and maybe that's the reason why they have this sloped or sleek, streamlined case, because they somewhat have to do with racing. The Daytona was named after a car race called the Daytona. They didn't call it the Le Mans because America was the biggest market and is still, so that's why they named it after a race that Americans would understand. Maybe they should call it the NASCAR, but I don't think the NASCAR would have done very well. But okay, anyways, so well, you never know. Okay, anyways, this is called the Daytona, and the case is 40 millimeters. It's still the same case as it is nowadays in 2025, but it's actually slightly different. I think not exactly the same dimensions, but it's very, very similar. And the case is just slightly different, but it still has the same basic look to it. Let's move on to the bezel. Now, the bezel here, one of the big notable differences with this first generation modern Daytona, that's what I'll call it, is that it has a steel bezel. After 2016, they've changed it to a ceramic bezel, which doesn't fade or scratch, but it does crack if you hit it hard enough. They basically made it so the most used part, the part that you see most, doesn't have any wear. And some people like it, some people don't. They continue to do the metal bezels on the precious material ones. This one's steel, so they stopped it. And this is the last year, this is the last generation that you can see this metal bracelet on, or metal bezel on a Daytona. So if you like that, then you know, you got to buy this version. And by the way, you can buy this at the lowest price anywhere online at jazztime.com. Okay, now let's move on here to the dial. Now the dial here is black, as you see. It has these sub-dials that have silver going around the ring, and it more or less looks the same as the ones in 2017 or 16 until 2022, which is the second generation modern Daytona. It has these, I don't want to call it short and fat, but shorter and fatter hour markers, and they've gotten longer and skinnier as time has progressed. But interestingly, it's not really changed a whole lot. So you got sub-dials that calculate elapsed time. I'm not going to go into all the details of how to do that because it's not a review video. But yeah, suffice it to say, that's what it it's a black dial. And I guess I could say the earlier versions, when they luminesce, the first generation, they had green luminescence. So they call it super luminova. And that was until I think 2014, 2020 to 2014, or 2000 until 2014, which was super luminova, which is greenish when you shine the light at it, or not just the light, but when it glows at night. And then 2014 to 2016, they changed to a chroma light, which was blue, which is just the later models, and that's what they use now, is a blue glow. Doesn't really matter. I mean, you know, green, blue, whatever. Okay, at any rate, yeah, let's go on to the bracelet. Now the bracelet here this marks it as a first generation modern Daytona, because you see that this clasp, it looks, as you see it, it looks a little bit older. They don't do this kind of clasp anymore. They did this kind of clasp in the early 2000s, and they stopped doing it around 2008, something like that, and they changed over to the new clasp, which they are still using nowadays in 2025. So this is the older clasp. They did this one for some time, and that was the time they did it, 2000 to like, I guess 2008 or so. Yeah, they revamped the clasp. There's nothing wrong with the clasp. I mean, once you close it, it really doesn't make any difference. It still has the comfort extension, so it still does all the things that the new clasp would do, but yeah, it has the older clasp. Okay, at any rate, let's move on to the movement. Now the movement was used for a very long time, actually. They used this, it's a caliber 4130 movement, and they used it in the first and the second generation until 2022. So it had a production run of 2000 until 2022, which is 22 years. And it has what's called a vertical clutch and a column wheel. And just to tell you what that is, it's like a little circular piece. The case is on, so I can't show it to you, but I've seen it before. It looks like a little circle thing with little like sprockets on the edge of them. And when you engage the chronograph, it allows the chronograph second to start and stop without jumping. And before that, when you start and stop, it would jump. So yeah, it doesn't jump anymore. And I guess you can see that. Watch, if I unscrew the pusher, you can start and stop it. You can see it doesn't jump when you start and stop it. That's because of this column wheel. It's just a little thing that they did. Okay, anyways, time to try this watch on my wrist and give you my thoughts. Now look, I'm a big fan of the Daytona. In fact, it's my favorite sports watch from Rolex, which actually makes it my favorite watch from Rolex because I like sports watch better than their dress watches. And I'm not gonna say this one's my favorite, but I'm a big fan of the Daytona. I like the most modern ones, but the old ones do have their charm, and they are cheaper, and they're not that difficult to get, especially if you buy it from Jazz Time. So I'm going to definitely give it 2 thumbs up. Steel is always a material that you can wear pretty much forever, and it'll last you forever. So I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up, and if you like to buy it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.